G'day Joseph, this is a quick video I'm just doing to answer your question about Windows Server 2008 running on VMware. The short answer is yes, so I'll just give you a quick overview how to do it and show you how it looks. So if I start up my copy of VMware Workstation, I'm just going to go up here and create a new virtual machine. Using typical, I'm going to choose custom, click next. We're going to leave this on hardware compatibility for Workstation 17.5. Now here normally you would choose the installer disk, but if you do that you'll get an automated install, which is not what you wanted because you wanted to be able to manually select things. So what I'm going to do is select the option here, which is I will install the operating system later, and click next. We're going to be installing Microsoft Windows obviously, and here you can choose which version of server, and yes, VMware does support the older versions of server, so I've got the R2 ISO, but you can also do this with the 2008 original version of server as well if that's the one you've got. So we'll click next, and then basically at this point we're going to be following through with most of these prompts. I'm going to leave the default for the BIOS. It works best with the older servers. If you've got a beefier machine, you might want to bump up the performance, but I'm going to leave on the default. It will run okay on 2 GB of RAM, but if you've got more memory to spare, I'd recommend it. So in my case, I have got a bit more, so I'll put in 4 gigs. We'll use bridge, so I'm using my router for the IP address. Recommend leaving it on the SCSI controller default that it gives you. That works quite well, so no need to change those. And then you're ready to create a new virtual disk. By default, it'll give you 40 GB, which is enough to run a few light applications as well as server itself. But if you know you're going to be installing something like a database or something like that, you might want to beef that up already. So let's say 60 GB. It's worth noting that it won't use up 60 GB of your hard drive space straight away. It'll only use it as and when it needs it. So as you install applications and data, it'll grow to a maximum size of 60 gig. So that's what it's doing now by default. That's fine. So we'll go ahead with that. And at this point, we have created a virtual machine. However, if you try and run it, nothing's going to happen because it doesn't know about the install media. So what I'm going to do is just go up here, it's selected already, and I'm just going to click on Edit Virtual Machine Settings. I didn't have a Windows Server 2008 ISO at hand, so I grabbed the nearest I could get, which is off the Internet Archive, and they had the R2. So I'm just going to go down here and select CD DVD and say I've got an ISO image, and then we'll find the one that I've downloaded, which hopefully works right for this demo. There, so we'll say open. I'm going to go ahead and say OK to that, and at this point I'm ready to go. So I'm going to power on the virtual machine. I'm using a fairly high resolution laptop here, so the screen's quite small in here, so I'm just going to change one of the views a little bit here so you can see things a little bit clearer. I want to stretch it out a bit. So we're starting the Windows install process. It'll be a multi-language version of server that I've got the ISO for. Okay, and it is. So you can see here, you can choose whichever language you want for the installation media. I unfortunately only know English, so I'm going to choose this one for the demo. But you can see there that we are starting a completely manual install, so this will be no different to you using the physical media on your hardware. So at this point you can go ahead and choose all the options you want in Windows Server and configure it any way you like. So hopefully that has answered your question. If you've got any more questions you want to ask, feel free to throw another comment up, but hopefully that'll get you on your way. Anyway, best of luck with it, and yeah, thanks for the question. Cheers.